In the game of basketball, emotions run high, but few players channel that heat the way Caitlin Clark does. When the game turns physical or the whistles stop coming, her response is immediate. You see it in her expression, hear it in her tone, and feel it in the intensity she brings right back. These moments show the weight she carries and how fiercely she competes to win. These are Caitlin Clark's most heated moments, and each one becomes even more intense than the last.
Taking it out, Evans fakes the three, takes the two, and knocks it down.
Let's begin with the moment that revealed exactly how fast things can escalate when Caitlin Clark is under pressure. On January 10, 2024, in a matchup against the Purdue Boilermakers, she stepped onto the court with a focus that couldn't be ignored. You could see it in her posture, in the sharp precision of her movement, and in the way she surveyed the floor. There was no need for words. Her intent was obvious from the opening tip. But intensity like that never goes unnoticed. Within seconds, her teammate Kylie Farbach takes a clear shove. An obvious foul the referee chooses to ignore. Caitlin's reaction is instant. She shouts in frustration, demanding the call. Instead, she receives a technical. No warning, no benefit of the doubt, just the price she pays for showing fire.
Met with some contact. Clark is upset she gets teed up.
Yeah.
The latter part of the game.
Yeah, you could.
When treatment like that begins early, it sets a tone that only strengthens as the game goes on. And in Clark's case, that pressure never fades. It stacks. But the pressure didn't slow down after Purdue. It followed Caitlin Clark into every matchup. And on March 23, 2024, during Iowa's game against Holy Cross, it surfaced again. After a sharp steal in the backcourt, Clark sprinted down the floor looking to capitalize. But before she could make her move, she was met by a swarm of defenders. They crowded her, using their size and physicality to force her off the ball. No whistle came, and with no space to escape, frustration took control.
Early, it forces the defense to spread out. It opens it up for 22 to go to work. Clark with the steal. Has it knocked loose. Working on the smaller defender, triple team.
Clark reacted immediately, bouncing the ball off her head as voices from the sideline called out for a technical.
Inside.
But this wasn't a random burst of emotion. It was built from constant contact, relentless pressure, and calls that never arrived. And for Caitlin Clark, it was becoming part of the same pattern. But that pattern didn't end in college. It followed her straight into the pros. On July 17, 2024, during a matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Dallas Wings, Clark once again found herself isolated and under pressure. With just 45 seconds remaining, she pushed the ball up the floor, being the only player on her team still in motion. But facing a triple-team defense and no foul in sight, she tried to create something out of nothing. The play unraveled, and so did her patience.
Right now, they're just thinking about winning this ball game. Clark quickly gets it up court, then got it knocked away. Odyssey cradles it.
In the aftermath, she turned toward the sideline, grabbed a water bottle, and fired it across the court. The frustration that had been simmering for months finally boiled over once again.
Welcome back to Dallas. Caitlin Clark upset with herself.
And just when it seemed like the pressure couldn't get any heavier, it did. On February 25, 2024, during a high-stakes matchup between Iowa and Ohio State, Caitlin Clark found herself in yet another heated moment. This time with guard J.C. Sheldon. Midway through the game, Clark was blatantly fouled. Sheldon grabbed her left hand right in front of the officials. Then came a second hit, all within the same sequence. Still no whistle, no call.
With 7:36 to play in the fourth, and she hasn't shot the ball well. Scrambled, tied up. Sheldon, Clark.
Moments like these take a toll. Getting hacked on back-to-back plays and hearing nothing from the whistle only adds fuel to the frustration that's been building all season. But it wasn't the last time Clark would clash with someone willing to get physical. On June 1, 2024, during a WNBA matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky, the rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese hit a boiling point. Reese, already known for bringing extra heat whenever Clark is involved, delivered a hard shove using her arm and elbow that sent Clark to the floor.
Taking it out, Evans fakes the three, takes the two, and knocks it down. 50-50?
50-50.
Contact may have looked like a simple foul on a rebound, but in real time, it was anything but subtle. The refs let it go, the crowd reacted, and Reese made sure to top it off with taunting that only escalated the tension. Moments like this have become part of Clark's WNBA experience. Taking hits, staying on her feet, and responding not with words, but with her game. And with every push, she pushes back harder. But physical battles weren't the only thing testing Clark's patience. Sometimes it was the officials who pushed her to the edge. On January 10, 2024, during Iowa's game against Purdue, Clark pulled off one of the most difficult shots in basketball, a clean half-court buzzer beater. According to a study published in the Journal of Sports Science, there's only about a 1 in 100 chance of sinking one. It should have been a highlight, but instead it was waved off.
Actually go up.
The ref called a foul on Clark just before she released the ball, canceling what could have been one of the most impressive moments of the season. She was already mid-motion deep into her shot, but it didn't matter. The play was erased and Clark's frustration boiled over.
Trying to draw the foul. Referee signaled to count it. Oh my. What's the verdict?
Moments like these only added to the growing tension. She wasn't just battling defenders. She was fighting for fairness and sometimes for recognition. But missed calls weren't just frustrating. They soon became routine. On May 20, 2024, during a game between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun, Caitlin Clark found herself in yet another no-win situation. First, she was clearly bumped on the drive. Then, as she lost control of the ball, her arm was grabbed. Two obvious fouls, and the officials let both go without a whistle.
Let's take a look.
This time, Clark didn't hold it in. She turned to the referee, visibly furious, and let her frustration out loud and clear.
After that foul call on Aaliyah, but this one I think is...
Lip readers had no trouble catching what she said. There was no softening it. Clark had finally reached her limit.
Comes off a stagger on the weak side, but she comes off a pin down here, wide open.
Victoria Vivian's an old NBA.
And it's this kind of treatment that consistently fuels Caitlin Clark's heated moments on the court. One of the most explosive came on August 18, 2024, during the Indiana Fever's game against the Seattle Storm. After missing a shot, Clark's frustration boiled over. She slapped the backboard padding in anger, and instantly the whistle sounded. She was hit with a technical foul for being disrespectful to the game.
And if they're open, she will find them. Martin commits the foul. Clark foul.
And just when it seems like she might catch a break, there's always another moment waiting to test her. On May 30, 2024, during a game between the Indiana Fever and the Seattle Storm, Caitlin Clark had just knocked down a three and was jogging back on defense when Victoria Vivians delivered a forearm straight into her chest. Up until that moment, Clark had worked hard to stay composed through the chaos. But for many fans watching, this felt like the moment when everything boiled over and enough was finally enough. This time she wasn't alone. Her teammates stepped in, defending her, making it one of the rare moments where the weight didn't fall entirely on her shoulders. But Clark's battles don't stop at the buzzer. Off the court, she faces constant scrutiny, uneven treatment, and a steady wave of criticism, often simply for being one of the brightest stars in the league. The pressure to remain composed never disappears. You can see her trying to hold it in, likely under constant demand to look poised and stay professional. Even her own father has stepped in, asking her to dial it back. Still, there are times when the pressure becomes too much to contain. And in those moments, Caitlin Clark shows exactly what she's made of. With the spotlight on her every move, tough defense is expected. Sometimes it crosses the line. Sometimes it feels intentional. But what separates her is not just her skill. It's how she responds when everything around her reaches a breaking point. She doesn't back down. She locks in. The energy shifts. The crowd leans forward. And suddenly, the game swings in her favor. that's exactly what makes Caitlin Clark truly unforgettable. If you enjoyed these moments as much as we did, make sure to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which one had you shouting at the screen. See you in the next one.